So it's late October in 2025. And I say it that way because back in late November 2024, we saw something, well, this movie before. Putin says that he has this new awesome nuclear missile that has no analog, that can't be stopped, that sort of thing. Is it really? Let's see what we see. So there was an article shortly after Putin fired this other missile before, the Orishnik, and this article came out on December 9th, this is the AP, after the November 21st attack with the Orishnik missile. Can the Orishnik do some damage? Certainly. Orishnik actually is a Russian word for hazelnut tree for some reason I don't quite understand. The Pentagon said the Orishnik was an experimental type of intermediate range ballistic missile, or IRBM, and it was based on Russia's RS-26 Ruzba's Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, or ICBM. It's basically the same kind of thing, reconfigured, but it's not some new leap in advance of missile technology. Okay, Putin claimed the weapon is so powerful that using several such missiles, even fitted with conventional warheads, could be as devastating as a nuclear strike. He was saber-rattling. He was trying to get the Ukrainians to back away and to get the West to back away from supporting the Ukrainians. The Orishnik is even more difficult to intercept than the Kinzhal. It can inflict significantly heavier damage because of multiple high-energy warheads. Putin described the Orishnik as a response to the U.S. and the U.K., listen to this, allowing Ukraine to use their longer-range weapons. Aren't we talking about Tomahawks right now, or within the last month or so? We've been talking about Tomahawks. Russia doesn't want Tomahawks. That was what led to the phone call, which led to the Hungarian summit that was going to be on, what's not going to be on, and then that led to the sanctions, which led to Putin sending Kirill Dmitriev to do his tour in the United States. That's where we are right now. It's the same thing. Russian state media extolled the Orishnik, claiming that it will take just 11 minutes to reach an airbase in Poland, 17 minutes to reach NATO's headquarters in Brussels. Yeah, saber-rattling. T-shirts appeared with images of Putin and the Orishnik, and he was told at a briefing that a couple planned to name their daughter after the missile. Okay, unlike other Russian conventional weapons with a shorter range, Orishnik offers the capability to launch a powerful conventional strike anywhere in Europe, giving the Kremlin a new instrument of escalation without tapping on its nuclear arsenal. It can't tap its nuclear arsenal. That's the dirty little secret. As much as they talk about nuclear this or nuclear that, they can't use it because of mutually assured destruction. So they have to fight conventionally. Look, I've given this example a number of times before, but let's say that you walked into a bar and you had a grenade in your hand. It's not a grenade, it's just a power supply thing. Okay, let's say you had this in your hand and somebody starts a fight with you. Well, even though you have a grenade and it's powerful, it'll wipe out everyone in the bar. If you pull the pin and use it, it'll wipe out you too. So you can't use it. You have to fight conventionally. That's where Russia is. And that's why this whole thing about this nuclear missile saber rattling really doesn't matter. In the meantime, what we see is that Russia's doing things like spending, well, a $2 million ballistic missile to destroy a Ukrainian coffee warehouse. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, that's what they're doing while Ukraine is striking oil depots as much as they possibly can. Okay, so let's talk about this new missile. It's called the Burevestnik. Okay, I may have pronounced it or put the emphasis in the wrong place or whatever, but Burevestnik. Okay. It's a cruise missile, and there is an interview in a German newspaper. I'll get to the interview in a second. I want to show you what Kirill Dmitriev said first. He said, Kirill Dmitriev said he informed U.S. leadership about the Burevestnik missile tests, claiming that the Russian delegation is trying to convince Americans that pressuring Russia is futile. Right, because of the sanctions, he was sent to the United States. He's talking about it at the same time that Putin is getting this report about it from Gerasimov. And Putin's in his military garb and he's up in this elevated place and he's hearing this report. And okay, so Russia claims it has conducted a test of nuclear-tied cruise missile, the Burevestnik, on October 21st. According to Gerasimov, the missile flew 14,000 kilometers and it showed it was capable of bypassing the air defense system. Putin called Russia's nuclear forces the most most powerful in the world. Okay, this here is a lie. They lied about the encircled armies in 2 places, so they lied about at least 3 places. So are they telling the truth about this? We just don't know. But he's trying to make himself look bigger than he is, and he's kind of saber rattling with this Burevestnik cruise missile. Okay, here's the article in the Kyiv Post explaining what this thing does. In an interview for a German newspaper, Andreas Umland answers questions about the Kremlin's latest nuclear-capable wonder weapon announcement. Anders Umland is a German political scientist who studies Russia. Okay, so it's called the Storm Petrel, or that's a translation for the Burevestnik, which is, I don't know if it's any better than the hazelnut, but that's what it is. Originally, the project had less to do with the Russo-Ukrainian war than with Washington's 2002 termination of the 1972 U.S.-Soviet Treaty on the Limitation of Missile Defense Systems. Although the nuclear propulsion of this cruise missile is something new, it does little to change the current balance of power between U.S. and Russia. Okay. How could the Burevestnik change Russia's warfare? It's not likely to be of any significance for Russia's warfare in Ukraine. Flight times of cruise missiles between countries are short. They're right next door to each other, so it doesn't take very long for Russia to launch a cruise missile and for it to land in Ukraine. This would make the Burevestnik not only a potential nuclear weapon, but also a non-nuclear warhead or radiological weapon, so-called dirty bomb. They could do all kinds of things with it. However, the likely effect of deploying a Burevestnik in Ukraine would be Ukrainian attempts to load Ukrainian existing cruise missiles, such as Neptune or Flamingo, with radioactive material and fire them at Russia. This would be an enormous escalation of the war, triggering global reactions. It's therefore unlikely that this weapon will be used in Ukraine. Okay, so Russia can say, we have this wonder weapon, we can use it against you, but if you do, what's going to happen next? Because like you get a turn and then they get a turn and they get to decide. They get a vote. So it's not going to work. Now, this weapon isn't aimed at Ukraine. It's targeting the U.S. and Europeans, trying to get them to back down in supporting Ukraine. Trump has just announced sanctions against Russia. Are the two unrelated, or is Putin trying to demonstrate strength? Yeah, he's trying to demonstrate strength. Putin's recent announcement of the Burevestnik missile is related to the Russia-Ukrainian war and intended to scare Ukraine's Western partners. According to Moscow, Burevestnik is a wonder weapon against which there is no enemy. Okay, so basically, it's a ICBM kind of missile that can go farther. I mean, that's the whole thing with it. Burevestnik's enormous range and long flight duration are undoubtedly an advantage. However, it is questionable whether this capacity actually makes the missile uninterceptable and represents a significant operational advantage. The aim is to intimidate voters and politicians in Europe and North America and deter them from providing further aid to Ukraine. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. All right, so Jay in Kyiv asks, does Trump begin to embark on the path that could take down Putin? It's starting to feel like it. Okay, if you've heard that before and you want to wait until you see something happen, I fully understand. I'm right there with you because, I mean, I'm hoping he's going to do something, but I'm not betting on it. If so, love it or hate it, there will be golden statues of real Donald Trump all over eastern Ukraine. So what he's talking about is this audio of Trump talking about the Burevestnik, because Putin unveiled this thing, was, look at what we have here. And Trump's like, we have a sub parked right off your coast, right? Like, we don't need to go that far. Now, it's true the Russians also have their subs where we can't necessarily see where they are. So, yeah, but it's just that neither we nor they can use these missiles. That's what it amounts to. Listen to Trump for just a little bit. It's about 30 seconds, 40 seconds for the clip.
Russia said this week that they've tested a new missile that can go more than 8,000 miles. Is that saber rattling for you? What is that?
They know we have a nuclear submarine, the greatest in the world, right off their shores. So, I mean, it doesn't have to go 8,000 miles. And they're not playing games with us. We're not playing games with them either. We test missiles all the time. But, we do have a submarine, a nuclear submarine. We don't need to go 8,000 miles.
Yeah, what do we need to do that for? We have a nuclear submarine. It's parked right off their coast. Don't worry about it. All right. Darth Putin put this out. Me talking about our latest nuclear-fueled missile, or fueled missile that totally works with a Putin that's kind of glowing in the dark. Just thought that was kind of funny. All right. Tell me what you think about what you saw here. Put that in the comments below. If you don't know me, my name is Gerdes. I'm just a professor trying to provide context in the war in Ukraine. Subscribe. I'll be back to provide more context tomorrow. Thank you for the time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person who cares about Ukraine.